just think first that there is some hesitance. You know that it is you who need to undergo a change from being a distracted person to a concentrated being. And there is a willingness, but not full willingness. There is some kind of a hesitance, right?
Yeah.
Which you are not able to pinpoint as to what that hesitance is, right? So let's work on this. Do as I do, say as I say. Ready? Tap the karate chop point using the tips of the first two fingers. At karate chop, we can even tap with 4 fingers. But these 2 fingers we are going to use everywhere. So I have habitually got into using these 2 fingers. You can use 4 also over here. Even though I am hesitant to undergo change, still I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself, even though I'm very distracted. I keep doing something or the other all the time. Mostly fidgeting, making movements that are not needed with my body and my mind. Still, I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself, even though I know it is me who has to undergo change. But I'm not all that willing. I don't know why I'm hesitating. I don't know what is coming in my way. Still, I deeply and completely love, forgive, and accept myself. Now tap the beginning of eyebrow point with the tips of the 2 fingers and say, this distraction. Tap the end of eye point and say, this fidgeting. Below the eyes, tap and say, this hesitance. Below the nose, tap and say, this unwillingness. Chin groove, tap and say, this distraction. Below the collarbone, tap and say, this fidgeting. Below the armpits, tap and say, this unnecessary movement. On the lower ribs, tap and say, this hesitance. Thumbnail, tap and say, this poor will. And the 4th finger, junction of nail and skin, tap and say, this distraction. Middle finger, tap and say, this distraction. Little finger, tap and say, this distraction. Tap the eyebrow point and say, this fidgeting. Eye end point, tap and say, this fidgeting. Below the eyes, tap and say, this fidgeting. Below the nose, tap and say, this unnecessarily moving. Chin groove, tap and say, this unnecessarily moving. Below the collarbone, tap and say, this unnecessarily moving. Below the armpits, tap and say, I am just not able to help it.
I'm just not able to help it.
On the lower ribs, tap and say, I can't help it.
I can't help it.
Thumbnail, tap and say, I don't know why I do it.
I don't know why I do it.
Forefinger, tap and say, I just do it.
I just do.
Middle finger, I don't know how and why it happens.
I don't know how and why it happened.
Little finger, I don't know why I do it.
I don't know why I do it.
Eyebrow point, I make these unnecessary movements.
I make these unnecessary moments.
Iron point, it takes away my attention from my work.
Takes away my attention from my work.
Below the eyes, I lose out on a lot when I do this.
I lose out on a lot when I do this.
Below the nose, but I do it.
But I do it.
Chin group, I don't know why I do it.
I don't know why I do it.
Below the collarbone, it happens.
It happens.
Below the armpit, I'm like that. On the lower ribs, I am like that.
I'm like that.
Thumbnail, I don't know why I do it.
I don't know why I do it.
Forefinger, yes, I find myself doing this.
Yes, I find myself doing this.
Middle finger, I do this.
I do this.
Little finger, I do this distracting activities.
I do these distracting activities.
Karate chop. Still, I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
and accept myself.
Tap the back of palm point, this point, with all the four fingers. Keep tapping and do as I tell you to do. Continuously, rhythmically, keep tapping. Close your eyes tight. Open your eyes wide. Look left down without turning your head. Look right down without turning your head. Roll your eyeballs left to right, full circle. Right to left, full circle. Hum a tune. Quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Again, hum a tune. Come back to karate chop. I deeply and completely
Deeply and completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
accept myself.
I choose to
I choose to
pay attention
pay attention
to what I'm saying and doing.
to what I'm saying and doing.
And I deeply and completely
And I deeply and completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
and accept myself.
I choose to be
I choose to be
safe and comfortable
safe and comfortable
in doing what I'm doing
and doing what I'm doing
here and now.
here and now.
And I deeply and completely
And I deeply and completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
and accept myself.
I choose to be
I choose to be
present in the now.
present in the now.
Enjoy the present.
Enjoy the present.
Participate fully in the now.
Participate fully in the now.
Pay full attention to the present moment.
Pay full attention to the present.
And I deeply and completely
And I deeply and completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
and accept myself.
Tap the beginning of eyebrow point. Here and now.
Here and now.
Eye end point. Tap and say, pay attention now.
Pay attention now.
Below the eyes, tap and say, fully here and now.
fully here and now.
Below the nose, tap and say, fully present.
Fully present.
Chin through, tap and say, full attention.
Full attention.
Below the collarbone, tap and say, fully attentive to what I am saying and doing.
Fully attentive to what I'm saying and doing.
Below the armpits, attention on what I am saying and doing.
Attention on what I'm saying and doing.
On the lower ribs, here and now.
Here and now.
Thumbnail. I am present.
I am present.
Forefinger, here and now. Middle finger, I am present here.
I am present here.
Little finger, I pay attention to what I'm saying and doing.
Pay attention to what I'm saying and doing.
Karate chop. And I deeply and completely
Like you can completely
love,
love,
forgive,
forgive,
and accept myself.
and accept myself.
Massage the tender spot on your left shoulder as you take a deep breath in. Gently press and hold the point as you breathe out long from the mouth. What's on the mind? What all was happening while you did?
सेकंड टाइम जब भी कराटे चॉप में गया तभी थोड़ा थोड़ा टाइट वो पूरा था ना पूरा गला टाइटनेस फिर वो ऑफिस हुआ और लाइक आई थिंक जब भी हम लोग लास्ट राउंड ऑफ वो फिंगर टैपिंग वो सब कर रहे थे तभी थोड़ा सा टाइटनेस नहीं था बट थोड़ा सा अजीब फील हो रहा था पूरा लाइक टिंगली ऐसा फील हो रहा था